Welcome. My name is Felipe Reyes. I am the Executive Director of the Ar7 Foundation INC. And it is indeed my distinct pleasure to be here at the Hearing Council with Mauricio Patiño, with whom we're going to converse today and learn everything about Mauricio. Mauricio, it is my distinct pleasure to sit with you today. We want to know about Mauricio. And we're going to begin by asking you, who is Mauricio? What does Mauricio reflect in life? What is it about Mauricio that makes an interesting individual?
Okay, first off, welcome, and thank you for having me. Just a little bit about me and my individuality. I was born here in Houston, Texas, to a Colombian father and a Japanese mother, which made for a really interesting upbringing. It's quite an interesting mixture of cultures and ideas. And in my upbringing, I grew up looking at a lot of different art, from Japanese anime to, of course, symbolic Japanese art, historical Japanese art, as well as traditional Latin American art and their love for craftsmanship and use of color and figures. So I grew up with just a wide range of interests in both cultures, which led to my interest in painting.
Extremely interesting what you told us about Mauricio, but now it brings me to the second question to you. When do you discover the love for art, and how do you know what to paint and why to paint it? It is, especially being having two cultures mixed, what is it that takes you to combine those two? Do you do individually, or do you have the tendency to go in one direction? Share with us what is it that drives you to be an artist, and how do you distinguish one piece over the other one?
Sure. Hold on. Sure. I really just paint what I see, and with such an interesting upbringing and mix of cultures, I was always presented with different ideas and imagery that I think was unlike many of my contemporaries growing up. I grew up in a household with different cultures, different ideas, different aesthetics, and so I just noticed at a young age how my experience as a child might be different from my next door neighbors or other people in my school, other kids in my school. And so I wanted to share that with everybody because people found it to be interesting. And I enjoyed sharing the imagery that I saw as a kid, looking at comic books from Japan and looking at artists like Botero, who use these voluminous figures to represent the human. And I was always inspired by those two different cultures. So how I decide what to paint is I really just look in front of me, because I've been blessed with so many different views and ideas, and I try to represent them as best as I can so I can share those ideas and images with my friends and family.
It is very interesting. I had the opportunity to visit Japan, and I was fascinated by not only by the physical attributes of a Japanese person, but to mix a Latin American individual with the characteristics of Japanese is fascinating to me. And now that you mentioned how those two combine, you must feel such a blessed individual, because having not one but two and now three living in the U.S., combine those three characteristics, you are a fascinating man. And that leads me to another question. Now that you began to paint, and I have had the pleasure to see some of the paintings that you're doing, and indeed they're fascinating, they're incredible.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself in the near future or a long term as a painter or as an artist? What is it? What is Mauricio in I don't know, 10, 50, 20 years?
Good question, and like you said, it is such an interesting mix of cultures. Japanese culture being so different from Colombian culture, and growing up here in Texas, which has its own unique culture and identity. I feel like my goal a lot of when I paint is to find my own identity. And so as I grow older and I paint more and deepen my practice, I hope to really pull out the facets of my identity that makes me who I am, and makes me compelled to paint and compelled to constantly share and create new ideas.
But it is really, I will say, fascinating once again to know the to be able to plot to put in a paper your feelings, your thinking, your what you see, especially the combination of those two cultures being so rich and so different. We're going all the way from Asia to Latin America. It is just to having those two together, I think, is something unusual. And we are really blessed to have you in Ar7 Foundation INC, because it is really going to drive and to inspire hopefully kids to see somebody as young as you are, and to be so truthful to the reality. Well, it brings me to the last question. What are some of the hobbies that you can share with us, obviously besides painting?
Sure, yeah, I have many hobbies actually. I love to spend time with my family and friends. I really like to exercise and work out, take care of myself. One of my most interesting hobbies is I do circus arts. I'm an aerial performer on the aerial trapeze, and I've been practicing in the circus arts for about 5+ years or so, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of really wonderful people, and use it as another form of expression to share some interesting things around the world.
Well, Mauricio, it's been fascinating to talk to you today, and I'm sure that in the near future we're going to have another opportunity to learn more about Mauricio's not only personal life. This piece that you just shared with us, it has a lot of more I'm sure that you want to share. But again, I want to thank you. Thank you for inviting us to your home, to beautiful garden, and we look forward to see you in the near future. And to all of you, thank you for watching today. It is fascinating to see Mauricio's life as an individual artist. We'll see you soon, and hope you watch and give us your thoughts about this fascinating man.